In this tutorial you will learn how you can create this amazing dramatic product render of this graphics card, and I will guide you through the full process step by step, how you can set it up, how to create the lighting, material and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, I had so much fun. And also, so you can follow along step by step, you can download the full project file with all of the 3D models, the lighting, materials, everything. Link in the description, completely for free. So leave a like and subscribe for that, and so you don't also miss my other product rendering tutorials in Blender. Just one more thought is, so I saw this Behance project, and in general you have so many of this product renderings where you have a product combined with some nature assets, so rocks in between, and I don't know, I think that really looks cool. It's very contrasty, very dramatic with this orange light. It tells a little bit of a story. So yeah, download this file so you can follow along, and let's start from scratch. And if you want to learn even more, I've just launched my new Blender course, which teaches you everything you need to create photorealistic product renders. You will start with the fundamentals of Blender, mastering navigation, lighting, materials and rendering. Then we jump right into creating a professional studio render like Apple or Beats is doing. And finally, you will learn how to build an outstanding creative environment that brings your products to life. Whether you're building a portfolio or earning income or mastering your craft, this course is designed to help you succeed. So if you're interested, check out first link in the description box. And now let's dive into our today's tutorial. And first of all, just press A. So you select everything, press X to delete it. And I don't want this animation bar, so I will just close the area and directly just save the file. So you can just press Ctrl S every few minutes and save your file. Also at the bottom right, you see my keystrokes. So first of all, we want to import the graphics card with all of the materials already applied, or most of them. So again, you can use your own product or just use what I've provided for you for free. So just download that and then go to File and Append and select that file and double click, and then go to collection. So not to the object or something, go to the collection and import the RTX 2070. So if you double click, then give it a second, because if you import it as a collection, so if you append it as a collection from my file, you see you have everything structured and it's organized in the hierarchies. So that's really cool. Perfect. So first of all, if we check out here my render that I've already created, I want to first frame everything. So I don't want to do the lighting, anything out of that. I just want to create a camera with the graphics card in a nice angle and place some rocks around it. So we have established a frame, and then we can start to build all of our scene around it. So I mean, just the lighting basically, because all of the materials will be mostly already applied. So let's do that by just dragging here a new window and one more window. So here at the bottom right, we will create our render. And here at the top, we will create our materials and stuff. So on the left, press Shift A and create a camera, and press N to go to the object properties and just make the rotation everything 0. And now just press G and just bring the camera a little bit outside here. And also let's rotate it 90 degrees on the X-axis, so it's looking at our graphics card. And now here at the bottom right, just go into the camera symbol. So now we see through the camera. And first of all, we just want to adjust the focal length. Yeah, let's do something, I don't know, 85. I don't want it too high, because then in this example, it gets a little bit too flat. I just want a little bit of distortion. So it just makes a little bit more interesting our framing here. And now also bring the camera again And now bring just the camera a little bit back here. And also I don't want all of those overlays, so I will press T and I will get also rid of this here, and again just zoom in a little bit. And now just double click on the collection of the graphics card and just rotate it for now a little bit. So we will adjust everything in a second. And the graphics card is just way too big, so I will just scale it for now. Again, nothing is final right now what we are doing. Oh man, but I really like this design here. So leave me a like and subscribe for that model. And yeah, if you want to see more product renderings tutorial. But now we have to import some rocks. So there are two ways. So either if you have Bridge, so right now at the moment it's free, and maybe you have already Bridge installed. If not, I will link to you below this video just 1 or 2 quick tutorials how to install that, because then you can just type in rock and then you find something. So here you have thousands of assets, and at the moment right now when I'm recording, they are all free. So yeah, you just download them here and then you just click export, and then voila, your rock is in your scene. And if you go to material preview, you also have directly all of the materials applied. So this is absolutely amazing. And if you don't have a Bridge, or you watch this tutorial in the future and you don't want to buy anything or something, that's fine as well. Then you can just go to cgtrader.com and you just type in rocks. And you can click here on free. There are a lot of free assets. So if you're practicing, you can use that. So let's do that actually basically together. And you have here a pack of some rocks. Again, also below this video, the links are linked if you don't find it because of some reason or something. And then you can just download that. And actually you have even here a blend file included. So you will do the same. You just go back to your scene and you just go to File, Append. Then you select that downloaded rock pack blend file. You just double click and you go to Object. And then, okay, you have here a few different ones. So let's just pick Moss Rock 8. And voila, it's also instantly to the scene. But let me just find the rock that I actually want. So yeah, I like Moss Rock 10. And now starts the fun part. So first of all, we have our first stone, and just bring it here to a large size. And just let's position that somewhere like that. And already, first of all, let's start to bring a simple lighting to the scene. So we can go here to the render view, and we are just seeing a little bit better what we are doing. So for that, just go here to the scene and put it onto cycles and make it here GPU. And now go onto this and onto the world settings here. Press on the yellow button from the color and go to environment texture. Now it's pink because we don't have a texture. So just press open and just go to some HDRI environments that you have. So again, just type in HDRI environment on Google. There are like millions of free ones, and I just pick a random one. So something like that looks absolutely shit, but that's fine. And now on the bottom right corner where we have our camera and render, just press Ctrl B and just drag around your ratio, because now it's only rendering that. And now we can start with the framing. And also this is a little bit confusing here at the top. So I will just go here into the shader mode. And here also you see the node editor from the rock, but this is not so important. So for me, it's right now important to get some nice framing into the scene. So yeah, you have something like that. I've just imported another rock, but you see it's just a lot of, yeah, rotating and bringing in position and just find something that you like. And now I just want to bring the camera a little bit into place. So I will just here double click on the collection. And now, because then all objects are selected, and I will do the same. I will just try to find a nice position. So yeah, we have something like that. And yeah, just give it a nice dynamic angle and just make it interesting. Just don't position it straight. You know, it can also work, but just literally play a little bit around and train your eye and look at references and just try to experiment with different camera angles and all that kind of stuff, because it's just so much fun. And yeah, you learn how to build scenes and all that kind of stuff. So that's basically our scene. I hope you liked it. See you in the next one. Bye. Okay, no, so we are obviously missing the whole lighting, and this will be the most fun part. And how we will do this? So first of all, I also want, because if we check out in my reference image here, in the background, we have this gradient light. Right, so this really helps to make the graphics card pop, and it just brings instantly like a nice contrast. So let's first of all do that. Very simple, just Shift A, mesh, create a new plane, rotate this plane on the x-axis 90 degrees, and press G and just bring it here, way to the background and make it SS, and so scale that. And make it nice and big. So something like that, just in the background, so it's filling your whole frame. And now let's bring our first light. So let's call this plane BD for just backdrop. And let's call this rock left and rock right. So we are just nice and organized. And now again, Shift A and just bring in a light and a point light. And this point light, you just bring very close to this plane here. And now let's bring everything to 0 when it comes to light. So go to your world and go to the strength and make it 0. So now it's everything black. And again, you can work with HDRIs to light up the scene, absolutely. But most of the time when you see something like that, where you have really cool lighting and strong contrast, it's most of the time the lights are set up manually, and it's also just much more fun and you have full control. And but yeah, let's first of all click here on your small light and just bring it out of the RTX collection. I hate this when this happens. So select the point light and just call it light BD. So this is our backdrop light, and just go to strength and just go to the settings here from the light and make it something like that. Bam. You see, now it's already really cool. And you will see, because now when we will start to add the lighting, it helps us so much more to understand like what's going on the scene, right? Okay, cool. So now what we will basically do is, oh, and one more thing. So I forgot that, because if you go back to your world view and let's put it to 1, you see our rocks, they are like greenish, brownish, but in this example, I don't want that. I just want to like more of a stylized look. So yeah, I don't know, something like that or so. So I don't want the color, right? So how we will do this, it's very simple. Just select your rock and again, go to your shader editor. And here, so you have this texture connected to the base color. So this is what gives us the color. And I just want to add in between with Shift A, hue saturation node maybe. So something like that. And the saturation we can just bring down to almost 0. So let's keep it like a little tiny bit of a color. So something like that. And maybe even afterwards, we can try to add Shift A contrast node. So just add brightness contrast. And maybe we just want to add a tiny bit of contrast. 0.01, but again, we have to see how it will work out and play together with our lighting. So we have to do the same with our second rock. So just select those two nodes, Control C, and click the other rock, and go to your shader editor and Control V, and just bring them in here so we can use the same. So again, plug in the base color into the hue saturation, and then the end here to the base color. Whoops. And this doesn't work as I expected, so this looks weird. I don't know why this is, so let's just delete them and just add them one by one. So Shift A, hue, and let's just add this hue in between and drag down the saturation, to 0.1 or so. And also again, Shift A contrast, something like that. And also again, let's increase the contrast a tiny bit. So something like that. And you see now it's everything like more gray. So I really like that. And let's create now the whole lighting in our scene. Again, go to your world and bring the strength to 0. And first of all, I just want Shift A and add an empty and add a sphere. And scale up the sphere a little bit, because this sphere will save up so much time, and it's because now we can bring all of the light into the scene and target all of this light directly to our sphere here, and it will always point towards the middle, so we don't have to adjust the light like crazy. So select this empty and just call it target_light. And now let's bring our first light, Shift A and light, and just bring an area light. And let's just bring this area light just a little bit outside here, so you see what will happen. Because now we have our first light, and go here to constraints, add object constraint track 2. And now with this picker, just pick this target light. Right, so now you see if we move the light in our scene, it's always showing or looking towards our camera. Okay, so first of all, let's just brighten up this whole thing here. So I just want to bring in then the camera to somewhere to the front, because again, you know, I know most of you know that, but just if some very beginner is listening, you know, when you start to work with light sources individually and not with HDRIs, you also start to understand where do you have to bring in the light, right? Because right now the graphics card is like in an angle, but if you want to light up everything, you have to place the light up in the front, a little bit in the right, and a little bit on the top. So somewhere here. And obviously we don't see anything, because we have to make it bigger. And now also you have to go to that light and to this green symbol and just increase the power to, let's take 400 or something. So you see we are starting to light up our scene, and I really like already in which direction everything goes, because now you see it's get brighter because it reflects the light, right? But our camera is here, so you have to imagine those light rays which are going through the scene, kind of, right? Okay, so that looks good, but maybe we can increase a little bit. Okay, so now you see our graphics card is way too dark and our rocks are too bright. So let's just select here in object mode this main body and just make the base color a little bit, because you see it's like very, very black, so it eats kind of all of the light. So let's just make it a little bit brighter. And that's fine. And now I just want to adjust a little bit the light to somewhere like that. So it's not just everything looking flat, because you see our graphics card has a lot of this hard surface detail design. I just want to cast some highlights. I want to cast some shadows, so it's just popping a little bit. But now, because the light is lighting everywhere, I want to go to the lights here, settings, and just reduce the spread. So first of all, you see we have much more contrast because all of our light strength is like much more narrowing down. So it's not just showing everywhere. So we just direct it much more, but that's why it's now again way too bright. So let's decrease the lighting here. So the lighting strength. And again, I just want to find an interesting angle. So bam, you see, I like this angle here. And you see, if we go into the graphics card, again, you see we have some highlights on the edges. We have some bright spots here. We have some dark spots. And obviously, if you work for a client or you work on your personal project and you really want to make it good, spend much more time with your lighting, right? And I'm just doing this tutorial right now. So I don't want, or I can't just show you how I'm tweaking that like for 2 hours, one light source, you know. But if you do that on your own, definitely do that. So I really like that. And now let's, because if we go to the graphics card here, you see, I also have, so if you take the collection, I have here center shifts and chips detail. So it's like I've modeled like all of those little chips and details and stuff. But right now I don't want to use this here, right? So I will just hide all of those details. So I will just double click on the empty and double click on the empty here, because I will not see them anyways right now so much, and that's fine. You see now, if we go to our light BD, so a small background light here, if you just disable that, you see everything is completely different, like a feel, and way too dark, and the background is just black, and it doesn't work out so much, right? So that's why this helps us. You see, it's like just one light source, just one gradient, and it pops everything so much more. Okay, so the second thing is what we have to do now is maybe I just, so if I zoom in, and if I select here the cooler plates, right, they are way too rough. So again, just select them, go to your shader editor, and then you see somehow it's roughness on the maximum value, but we don't want this. So just bring this down, and now you see it looks a little bit more metallic and everything's just a little bit darker. Okay, that's fine. So now this whole graphics card, we don't have any nice highlights, and also this whole metal piece on the left just looks boring. So let's start and just try to add the light to this metal piece. Call this main light that we just created light main, so you stay organized. And Shift A, create a new light, and again an area light, and again go to the constraints, add object constraint, track to. And with this picker here, select again the target light. So it's always looking towards it. And now somewhere on the left, we need to place the slide. So just make it with SS way bigger and increase. So this is, go to the settings and make it just for now also again, like something like 500 or maybe even 1000. And decrease the spread again, so it's just a little bit more focused. And you can also change here the direction of the gimbal from global to local. Then it's even easier to control it. So somewhere here on the left, so you see this whole metal piece is just much brighter. So if I disable that, you see it's just, otherwise it's too dark. But the problem is, this light is lighting everything around, and I don't want it in this example because I just want to focus on this metal piece. I just want to affect the light only this metal piece. So we will go to the area light, and you go here to the object settings and to shading and to light linking. And you just create here a new group, and now just select this metal piece and go to your menu here and press point. So you just focus on that and you find it where it is, and now go back to your light So your light linking is selected, and just drag in this metal side into your group. Because now if you go back to your area light here, so from the left, you see if you turn it on and turn it off, it's only affecting here this metal piece. So I will just zoom in a little bit, and with Control B just make a render region. And again, I will just select this light and just find a nice good position to it. Okay, so what I just did is I just repositioned this rock a little bit, so it's a little bit more towards the camera. So also then we can give it in a second a depth of field, right? And also I just made a little bit of room. So because the rock was before somewhere here, right? So yeah, I don't know, somewhere here, but this rock blocked the light here. So that's why I've positioned this rock a little bit here, because this is our left light, which is, casting this nice reflection. And I even brought this even closer, so something like that. So you see it's very close to the graphics card, but it's only emitting our metal piece. So this is exactly what we want. And now let's just adjust the light a little bit. And now we need a gradient, because always on phones, so especially on smartphones, or in general, when you have flat reflective surfaces, you just don't want to make everything bright like here, because it doesn't look good. We want to add a gradient, so this light fades a little bit. And this is, so you go to the area light in the shader editor, and you just click on use nodes. So now you have, you can work with that, and just press Shift A and just add a gradient texture, and you plug the color to the color. And right now you don't see anything, because you have to select the gradient texture and press Ctrl T. And if you have Node Wrangler enabled, so here in the preferences, if you type in on the add-ons Node Wrangler, just activate it. So, and go to gradient texture, Ctrl T, and go to the rotation and just rotate everything here a little bit around. So find the correct angle. So here you see if I rotate it, then you see at some values we get here this nice, how is it called? Gradient. And now again, you just have to play a little bit around and position this light a little bit. Maybe you press S and you make it longer. But yeah, you see, so we have this kind of gradient, but now we can improve a little bit the strength to 500. And now you see it's going from bright, and it's somewhere there just ends. And you see it's just a little detail, and we are still blocking the light with the rock. But again, it's already taking so long, and we have to do a few more steps. So play a little bit around with that. And now I just want a little light from the back, because if we check out here my reference image, you see here from the back we just have a little bit more of light, so we have some nice highlights. So this is very simple. You can just select here our one main light that we have, and let's call previous before we add this new light, call this light on the left light gradient metal, so we just know what this is. So again, go to your main light and Shift deduplicate, press right click, and now we can start to bring this new light behind the graphics card. And if you press S, let's make it nice and thin. And try to find a nice angle. So here you see it. This is just in the background and a little bit above the graphics card. And you see we have now some really cool highlights here at the top, because if I deselect the slide, you see it's just a dark edge, but I want this nice popping highlight. Bam. And this is how we can add. But now also our metal pieces in the middle are, for my taste, a little bit too bright. So I will just go to them, select one of them, and make the base color maybe a tiny bit, yeah, more towards the gray, so it's not so reflective. And you see our graphic card just pops a little bit more. And also now you see this whole bottom section is just a little bit too dark. So I just want to brighten that up. So I will select the slide and again call it light back top. And again Shift D and just right click. So you have this new light, and this light we will just call light fill, because this will just fill in a little bit the shadows. So it has to go to the front. So again, I will just play a little bit around with that. And here as well, you can select the slide, press use nodes in the shader editor, and again, just add a gradient to bring a little bit of variation in, and Control T, and then just play around with the rotation. So yeah, something like that. So you see we're just making this a little bit brighter, and really just a little bit. So don't do something like that, because then you see again it gets too bright everything and too gray, and we don't have a nice contrast. So we really have to play a little bit around with the values. Maybe I want to make this main light a little bit sharper and maybe a tiny bit brighter. And also now, because if you check out, we have those highlights here at the top, but we don't have any highlights here on the right. So let's just add a little light source somewhere here in the background, just to give here also some highlights, so it's even more popping. So again, I will just duplicate this one main light. And also you can just deselect all of the lights except the one that you are working on. So you can fully focus and you see exactly what this light is affecting. So something like that. So you see it's just a very small effect. So if I disable all of the light, you see we just get this nice sharp edge here at the end. So with the light, without the light, so you see now it's just black, but here it just, lights up a little bit the edge. And I don't know what about you. Of course it needs much more like fine tuning, but I really like it because it just pops so strong, because also the design is so sharp and our light is so contrasty. So I don't know. If you like it so far, leave a like and subscribe. And yeah, let's also now bring all of the light into one collection. So select them all and just press M and new collection and just call this lights. And now let's just, how that looks. Let's just add some very strong contrast light to that rock, because right now it's just black, right? So what we can do is again Shift A and an empty, create a new empty. This one will be a cube. So I will just bring it here towards the rock. So something like that. This will be our target rock. And let's create a light, Shift A, and again a light, area light. Call this light rock right. And go here to the constraints and add a track 2 and select again just your rectangle here. So the light is always looking towards the rock. And now go to the light and make it very strong with the power and decrease the spread a lot here. So you have a very contrast look. Okay, now we have to reduce a lot the light. So maybe you also can give it here a nice color. But let's do this in a second. Let's first find a nice position for our rock to give it some contrast. Yeah, so I even like something like that. So, you know, we don't just brighten up the whole rock, but just some of this really cool form. So we just add more detail to our scene. More contrast. And now let's duplicate this light. And this duplicated light, we go to the settings and we just give it here an orange look. And now let's give this light orange as the target object. So delete the target object and add the object target light. And let's just try to add an interesting accent light, kind of. So my orange light, you see it's just here in the background and it just gives a little bit of some very, very tiny, interesting, orange light. So also here in the graphics card, you see it's just reflecting this orange light a little bit and just a little bit on the rock. I don't want to make everything orange. You know, it's just, I don't know, it's just a very artistic thing. So maybe you can shift deduplicate and maybe just bring another light somewhere and just try to find an interesting spot for it. Maybe something like that. And you see, it doesn't make sense, but I think that looks cool because I really like it. We have so much contrast. And, you know, it's just making it interesting. I don't know, maybe if I don't look 1 hour on that image and then if I look back after 1 hour, maybe that looks garbage. I don't know, maybe you don't like it. But I think so. You see, we have a little bit of a tiny orange and in my opinion, it just brings a little bit of interest to that whole image. But now you just have to adjust everything. So you see, we have like thousands of light sources. But in my opinion, there is nothing more fun in this life. And once you have adjusted everything, you can just render that or create a simple animation or whatever. So if you like that, leave a like and subscribe. And if you enjoyed this tutorial and want to take your skills even further, check out first link in the description. My Blender course will guide you step by step to mastering photorealistic product rendering. So don't miss it out. Check out first link in the description box. Thanks for watching. Leave a like and see you in the next one. Bye.